What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to briefly talk about the Battlefield playtests that are going on. There are a lot of clips. I'm seeing some in particular myself, and I just kind of want to throw together a video. Look, this is kind of tough, right? Because we're talking about stuff, and I got a lot to say. But at the same time, there's there's nothing that you can actually show on the thing, because clips that are appearing, small little, segments here and there, they're getting taken down from EA. I mean, these are under NDA. People are not supposed to be posting it. I gotta say, I mean, they're doing some good work in terms of hey, look, there's a lot of skepticism with this upcoming Battlefield game, and they are 1,000%, in my opinion, in a prove it type mode. Now, I'm not really pro breaking NDAs and stuff, and I do think we're gonna get like a fair look at the game before the game actually comes out. But people are curious, right? Like this is truly do or die, I think, for the Battlefield franchise. So if you're gonna really mess this thing up, we might as well know as early as possible so we can prepare. Or if they want to look at it nicely, EA, right? So we can talk about it. Like, let's discuss some of these things so you can fix them as quickly as possible so you make a good game. It's out of love. It's really out of love. So I want to talk about what we've been seeing, although, again, you got to bear with me, and I imagine you have to bear with anybody talking about this stuff. You can't actually show it. There are, if you want to look, okay, there's like 8, 9, 10, 11-minute gameplay clips. There's clips all over the internet. The issue is, again, they're all under NDA. EA has been taking them down, and if they haven't taken them down, they're going to take them down eventually. So it's like you're playing with fire, posting it. You're playing with fire, taking the clip and using it in like a video. So I'm not going to do that. But I will say, okay, the game looks great. The game looks so freaking good, and I don't want to get too excited because of everything I literally just said, right? Don't want to jump the gun. I am an optimistic person, an optimistic gamer, I guess, but I don't want to go too far because ultimately, I mean, look, you spend 8-10 minutes in a game, you show me 10 minutes in a clip. It's easy to make the thing look good. At the end of the day, like, will I play this game for years on end? We'll see. So there's one particular video segment, multiple segments that I personally saw where, and the comments, I'm going to echo the comments of this person. I won't name them because of what I'm about to say. They are horrendous. And now I'm not any better. It would almost be like me doing something like this, right? But I see a lot of people commenting that some of these clips going around are some of the worst players you've ever seen in your freaking life. And for some reason, they're the ones that were able to get into the playtest. Now, look, random draw or whatever the heck reason, these people were allowed in. I'm not saying I could do better because honestly, I'm not a very good first-person shooter player either, but it's really bad in terms of the gameplay. But I will say, does the game stand out while the person is terrible? The answer is actually yes. There's really two things at play, right? That at least I'm seeing is that destructibility, which we've seen a couple clips now, some official, some through EA, and then some through this testing. And I gotta say, guys, I mean, I am very impressed. This is something in particular that I think you can kind of jump the gun or at least say, okay, like, if it looks like this in the early access stuff, it can actually only get better because you can actually see it. Any of these gameplay clips, you see the destruction, and it's good. It harkens back to Battlefield 4. I mean, that's really what it is. And if they can pull this off, if they can make so many of these buildings just freaking crumble, when you do anything to them, that's a huge plus. That's something that I'm really looking for in my Battlefield games. It's what drew it to me with like Bad Company 2 and then Battlefield 3. I really got into that series knowing like the early 2010s, and that's real, or maybe like late 2000s going into it. And that's really what got me is like, okay, well, what makes it different than COD as like a 13-year-old at the time? Oh, well, everything freaking blows up, and it feels more like an actual Battlefield. That's what drew it to me, and we've gotten away from that. So that's something that you can see throughout all of these clips. Now, here's the thing. It's not without bugs, and that's where you have to really look at it, I think, with a critical eye and say, okay, where can we be, or what can we be fair on with this gameplay, right? Because we are 7 months away or whatever, however far, which is probably actually 7 or so, right? Maybe late October. We're more than half a year away, and we're seeing people of all different skill levels, right? Not everybody that's playing this thing is terrible, but some people, again, the gameplay is not very good, but it's the person, it's not the game. So you have to look at it and say, okay, well, what are the elements that we can actually take and say, okay, well, this is the game. This is what you can kind of expect. And that destruction, I think, is one of them. But, there are some, like, pop-ins, like, you'll see people, like, running into a wall with a tank, and, like, part of the wall will, like, disappear, like a glitch, like an Animus, like Assassin's Creed type glitch. And it's like, okay, okay, well, that shouldn't be in the base game. But we're 7 months away, right? So it's not something that I would take too seriously. It's okay, well, what does explode? What does blow up? What does have that destruction? That's what I'm taking away from it, right now. And the other thing, is the classes, I would say, is I think a lot is being said about that. You're seeing pictures being shown. Again, I don't know if you're like legally allowed to show those pictures, but there's pictures being shown of basically what each class is, right? Because they're kind of funneling in some. You have to, actually, when you had more than 4 classes, now you only have 4, you have to kind of fold some into each other, right? So what it seems like is the medic and support have become, that's like the main one, right? Like the main standout thing you can see. They've kind of become one. I've seen some people complaining about that. I don't really mind it. Again, like when you have 4 classes, your assault, your, again, like medic / support, and then like your recon, like those are kind of like the default. I mean, really, I just listed 5. So if you have to get rid of one, you have to kind of either you get rid of a class entirely, which I don't think is a good idea, or you kind of fold it into one that already exists. So that's the other thing that really stands out. Besides that, by the way, it looks like a Battlefield game. It checks a lot of boxes. It doesn't, besides the destruction, it doesn't stand out too much. But again, these are very select clips, and it's 7 months before, and we're really only talking about kind of ground warfare as well. Like you're seeing tanks, you're seeing people. That's really all of the clips, at least that I have seen, that have been floating around. I don't know if there's like other maps or other vehicles and stuff like that, but again, those are things that will get closer to launch. So I'm impressed. Like so far, I'm impressed, and it looks like a Battlefield game. It looks like they have listened, in certain areas, but ultimately, it's still a prove it situation. There's a long summer still between now and when the game comes out. There hopefully is betas and stuff that anybody can participate in just to kind of see it. There's a lot of prove it scenarios that are still left for them to do. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure as always you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.